welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive, frankly fascinating evolution of a global communication phenomenon. We're looking at the wild journey of Telegram. We're going to trace it from its origins as an obsolete physical network of wires and paper, all the way to its current status as a highly controversial billion-dollar digital ecosystem. It is a story literally full of paradoxes, and honestly, by the end of this, you might just look at the messaging apps on your own phone a little differently. So let's kick things off with a little history. For well over a century, the word telegram meant a physical piece of paper delivering really urgent news. It all started way back in 1844 when Samuel Morse transmitted his famous message, "What hath God wrought?" And for decades, this was the absolute undisputed king of long-distance communication. But as technology marched on, the old telegraph system slowly faded out. It was phased out in the UK in 1982, and Western Union over in the US finally abandoned it in 2006. The physical telegram met its ultimate final death in India in July 2013, completely shutting down. And here is where it gets incredibly ironic. The very same year, 2013, that the old, incredibly slow, state-run physical telegraph officially died in India, two Russian-born tech entrepreneurs launched a brand new, decentralized instant messaging app, and they decided to give it the exact same name, Telegram. It's almost like the old physical medium was replaced by a digital ghost, one that would very soon take over the globe. Which brings us to Section 1, the billion-dollar pivot. Because, well, here's the thing. Building a massive global messaging app is ridiculously expensive. For years, Telegram's survival felt like a magic trick. The platform amassed a staggering 900 million active users globally. 900 million! All while remaining famously unprofitable. It was running entirely on the seemingly bottomless pockets of its founder, Pavel Durov. But look, you just can't run a massive global digital infrastructure on goodwill and personal fortunes forever. Eventually, they had to figure out a sustainable business model, and they had to do it without alienating nearly 1 billion free users. Well, they didn't just find a way to survive. They completely cracked the code to profitability. A massive $1.4 billion is their projected revenue for 2026. They actually managed to flip from burning cash to becoming a massive revenue engine in just a few short years. So how'd they do it? They built a really clever 4-part revenue machine. Instead of throwing up a nasty paywall, they introduced Telegram Premium. That's a subscription for power users offering larger file uploads and faster speeds. Then came sponsored messages. These are minimalist, context-based ads that respect user privacy by only appearing in large public channels. Add in ecosystem commissions from third-party mini-apps operating right on the platform, plus some new enterprise features, and boom, they essentially built an entire digital economy without breaking the core free experience that brought everyone there in the first place. Moving right along to Section 2, the privacy illusion. Speaking of that core experience, we need to completely bust a major myth right now. Is Telegram actually safe by default? It is literally the first question practically every new user asks. Because the app heavily markets itself as this bastion of privacy and anti-censorship, you'd probably assume your everyday chats are locked down tight. But the answer to this is going to totally subvert your expectations. Here's the crucial comparison. Unlike platforms like Signal or WhatsApp, Telegram actually does not offer end-to-end encryption by default. Let that sink in for a second. Your standard chats are not end-to-end encrypted. Instead, your messages are encrypted between your phone and Telegram's servers, and then they're just stored right there in the cloud. Now, this makes the app incredibly fast, and it lets you sync across all your devices seamlessly, which is great. But it is a massive trade-off if you're looking for true privacy. To actually get complete, absolute privacy on the platform, you have to actively and manually start a specific feature called a secret chat. This is the only mode on the app that provides true end-to-end encryption. The data in a secret chat stays exclusively on the devices of the people involved, with absolutely no cloud backups. If you do not manually turn this on, your messages live on Telegram servers. All right, on to Section 3, a tool for revolution. So how did this unique setup, combining these massive public broadcast channels with hidden private chats, end up fueling an entire political uprising? Well, back during the highly controversial 2020 post-election protests in Belarus, citizens took to the streets in unprecedented numbers. And really fascinating academic research out of London University highlighted how Telegram became the ultimate tool for what sociologists call connective action. The platform basically became a crucial ally for protesters who were fighting against severe state repression and digital censorship. Take a listen to this striking quote from a Belarusian protester. They said, "It was 3 days of not knowing anything because we didn't have internet connection. During the night, war started. It completely captures the sheer chaos of those early days. The government actually initiated a massive internet blackout to stop people from organizing. But somehow, Telegram has this proven track record of remaining available and actually successfully circumventing state blackouts. It literally pierced through the digital darkness when almost nothing else could connect. And because the app lacks strict algorithmic filtering, users are in complete control of what they see. Citizens use Telegram horizontally, so citizen to citizen, rather than relying on traditional top-down leaders. They used public channels to rapidly disseminate evidence of election misconduct and police actions, and they used groups for decentralized coordination of massive peaceful rallies. It allowed them to completely bypass state propaganda and organize an alternative digital society right under the radar. Which perfectly tees up Section 4. The state strikes back. Because, as you can imagine, this level of unregulated power doesn't go unnoticed by authorities for long. What happens when governments decide this huge decentralized network is simply too dangerous to police? Well, we don't have to look far for an answer. Just this month, in June 2026, the Indian government enacted an emergency ban on Telegram. The catalyst for this was a massive national scandal involving the NEET UG medical entrance exams. Authorities cited the app's use by highly coordinated cheating syndicates to share leaked exam papers, and they noted the abuse of message editing features to induce public panic. The state went as far as labeling the platform a new dark web. Now, this brings us to a really critical shift in digital governance around the world. Traditionally, if a government found illegal content, they'd demand targeted URL takedowns, essentially asking the platform to go in and delete specific malicious posts or channels. But because Telegram channels can instantly mirror themselves and pop right back up like whack-a-mole, authorities are moving away from that surgical approach. Instead, they are resorting to platform-wide blocking, literally shutting off the entire infrastructure for everyone in the country. And to legally justify pulling the plug on over 150 million completely legitimate Indian users, the state did something legally ingenious. They utilized Section 69A of their IT Act, which normally allows blocking specific pieces of information, and they totally redefined the entire multi-layered app as a single piece of malicious information. In a landmark move, the Indian High Court completely validated this rationale, dismissing Telegram's arguments that the sweeping ban was disproportionate. So, I really want to leave you with this final thought to ponder. As this type of platform-wide blocking becomes normalized, literally legally codified by courts as an acceptable solution, are we sacrificing our entire digital infrastructure and our global connections just to solve localized regulatory problems? Think about it. If the state no longer needs to censor the individual message, but can simply flip a switch and turn off the entire medium, what exactly is the future of our global digital communication? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to dig into the sources we've explored today. See you next time.